What if the biggest mistake of your life was never your failure, never your loss, never your broken relationship, but the moment you decided to start proving yourself to people who were never even watching? What if every sleepless night you spent worrying about what they think of you was stealing energy from the life you were actually meant to build? What if I told you that the day you stop proving yourself is the exact day everything in your life begins to change? Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, not because people suddenly understand you, but because you, for the first time, stop shrinking yourself to fit into the opinions of others. The greatest warriors in history were not great because they convinced everyone around them. They were great because they stopped needing to. Today, in the next few minutes, I want to take you on a journey, not outside, but deep inside yourself, because the answer you have been searching for was never in their approval. It was always, only, in your silence. Stay with me. What I am about to share will change the way you see yourself forever. What if the greatest prison you have ever lived in had no walls, no locks, no chains, but was built entirely from the opinions of other people? Think about that for a moment. You wake up every morning, and before you even touch the ground with your feet, your mind is already running. What will they think? Will they accept me? Did I do enough? Am I enough? And this cycle, this invisible, exhausting, never-ending cycle, has been quietly draining the life out of you. Not dramatically, not all at once, but slowly, like a leak in a vessel, drop by drop, day by day, your energy, your confidence, your authenticity, all quietly disappearing into the hunger of other people's judgments. Today, I want to speak to you not about achieving more, not about working harder, not about becoming louder or stronger or more visible. I want to speak to you about something far more radical. Something that will feel uncomfortable at first, because it goes against everything the world has taught you. I want to speak to you about the power, the extraordinary, life-changing power of simply stopping. Stopping the performance, stopping the justification, stopping the desperate, exhausting need to prove yourself to a world that was never qualified to judge you in the first place. Imagine a tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind screams at it, rain beats against it, and yet the tree does not run. It does not explain itself to the storm. It does not beg the storm to stop. It does not try to convince the clouds that it deserves sunshine. It simply stands, rooted, grounded, unmoved in its essence, even while its branches bend. That tree does not prove anything to anyone, and yet it survives every storm. It grows taller every season. It becomes shelter for others, not because it fought the storm, but because it was deeply, completely, unshakably itself. This is the wisdom that most people spend their entire lives searching for and never find because they are too busy looking outward when every answer has always been inward. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you did something truly, purely, completely for yourself? Not for the photograph, not for the comment, not for the raise, the recognition, the nod of approval from someone you respect. When was the last time you acted from a place of such deep inner certainty that you did not even think about what others would say? If you struggle to remember that moment, then this message is exactly for you. We live in a world that has been designed, brilliantly, systematically designed to keep you in a constant state of proving. Social media shows you a scoreboard every single day. Numbers, followers, likes, comments, comparisons. The world has turned human existence into a competition where the rules change every 5 minutes and the judges are strangers who do not even know your name. And yet you run this race every single day, breathless, anxious, never quite winning, never quite enough. And here is the tragedy. Here is the part that must be said out loud, clearly, with no softening. The people you are trying to prove yourself to, They are not even watching you the way you think they are. They are too busy proving themselves to their people. Everyone is performing for an audience that is performing for another audience. And somewhere in this infinite chain of performance, the real you, the authentic you, the powerful you, got completely lost. The moment you understand this, truly understand it, not just intellectually, but in your bones, in your breath, in the center of your chest, something extraordinary begins to happen. You begin to feel lighter, not because your problems disappear, not because suddenly everyone starts treating you better, but because you have stopped carrying a weight that was never yours to carry, the weight of their opinions, the weight of their expectations, the weight of a version of yourself that was built for other people's comfort rather than your own truth. There is a deep misunderstanding that lives in the minds of many good, talented, capable people. They believe that confidence means having the ability to convince others of your worth. They believe that success means receiving validation from the right people. They believe that if enough people approve of them, then finally, they will feel okay about themselves. But this is a trap, a beautiful, seductive, devastatingly effective trap, because external validation is like drinking salt water when you are thirsty. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. True confidence, the kind that does not shake when someone criticizes you, the kind that does not crumble when someone ignores you, the kind that does not burn with anger when someone misunderstands you. True confidence is born from one source and one source only. It is born from the relationship you have with yourself, from the depth of your self-knowledge, from the clarity of your values, from the absolute unshakable understanding of who you are when no one is watching. And this is where the real work begins, not in the gym, not in the office, not on the stage or in the boardroom. The real work begins in the stillness, in the silence, in the moments when you sit with yourself and you ask, honestly, courageously ask, who am I without their approval? What do I believe when no one is influencing me? What would I choose if I knew no one was judging me? These questions are not easy. They require a kind of brutal honesty that most people avoid their entire lives. Because the answers sometimes reveal uncomfortable truths. Sometimes you discover that the life you have been living was designed by other people's fears rather than your own desires. Sometimes you discover that the relationships you have been maintaining were built on performance rather than truth. Sometimes you discover that the identity you have been protecting, the image you have been projecting, is not even real. It is a costume, a mask, worn so long that you forgot you were wearing it. And when that realization hits you, it can feel like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. But listen to me carefully. That feeling, that terrifying, disorienting, breathtaking feeling is not destruction. It is liberation. That is the moment the false version of you finally makes space for the real one. Because here is what nobody tells you. When you stop proving yourself, you stop being small. When you stop justifying your choices, you stop apologizing for your existence. When you stop performing for an audience, you start living for a purpose. And the paradox, the beautiful, counterintuitive, almost impossible to believe paradox, is that the moment you stop chasing other people's approval, you become the most magnetic, the most compelling, the most genuinely powerful version of yourself. Not because you changed who you are, but because you finally revealed who you always were. People are drawn to those who do not need them, not because it is attractive to be cold or arrogant or disconnected, but because there is something profoundly rare and deeply beautiful about a person who is fully, completely, peacefully themselves, a person who speaks without desperation, who acts without seeking applause, who loves without demanding to be loved back in a specific way, who lives without constantly looking over their shoulder to see if anyone is watching. This kind of person does not prove themselves, and yet somehow, without trying, without performing, without marketing themselves or managing perceptions, they become undeniable. Think of water. Water does not argue with the rock. Water does not try to convince the rock to move. Water does not get frustrated or give up or change its nature to please the rock. Water simply continues to be water. And over time, the rock moves, not because water overpowered it, but because water was so completely, so consistently, so absolutely itself, that transformation became inevitable. This is the life available to you. The moment, the exact moment you decide that you are done proving, done explaining, done performing, a new energy enters your life. It is the energy of clarity, the energy of purpose, the energy of someone who knows exactly who they are and where they are going and does not need anyone's permission to get there. Your worth is not a debate. Your value is not determined by a vote. Your potential is not dependent on someone else's recognition. These are truths that exist independently of anyone's opinion, including your own doubts. And the sooner you stop handing the authority over your life to people who were never qualified to hold it, the sooner you step into the extraordinary, unapologetic, unstoppable life that has been waiting for you all along. Stop proving yourself and watch. Everything changes. We began today with a simple question wrapped in a profound truth. What if the prison holding you back had no walls, only other people's opinions? And we have traveled through that question together, honestly, courageously, without flinching. What we have discovered is this: the proving, the justifying, the performing, it was never a sign of strength. It was always a signal of a deeper disconnection from yourself. And the path back, the only path back, is inward, through silence, through honesty, through the radical, almost rebellious act of choosing your own truth over someone else's comfort. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are not here to earn your place through constant demonstration. You are here fully, completely, powerfully here to live a life that is authentic, purposeful, and entirely your own. The moment you stop proving yourself is not the moment you give up. It is the moment you finally begin.